Hey guys, unfortunately my audio died at this point, so I figured I would just narrate this whole video. Um, Density altitude pretty high today, close to 95 degrees. Weather was really good. No thunderstorm activity in the area. So here I'm doing I did my run up and I'm getting ready to do my usual checks before I depart. I noticed I'm making a little bit less power because of the high density altitude. Normally I was making about 6,300 RPM, only making about 6,000 a day. So now we're on the roll, airborne, about to pop up over these trees. The climb is not nearly as good, but we're still doing about 700 feet a minute. I'm still kind of working on the best climb speed. It seems to climb a little better it seems to climb better at slightly higher speed, but I'm not sure about that. So just flying about over the local area, cruising about 65 to 70. This airplane really performs like a different machine with the 40 horse Rotax and the carbon fiber E-prop with the spinner. The model propeller and spinner is called the Excalibur, and I think the prop really added a lot of performance to the airplane. Here I'm about to fly over check out this little big pond out here on the right, and then I'm gonna fly over a buddy's house and do a quick buzz. So I got the rear tank installed, and I'm just running off it. The nose tank is empty at the moment. Really snappy performance. Like I said, it feels like a totally different airplane. 28 to 40 horse doesn't sound like a whole lot, but in reality, in an airplane, it's actually quite a big jump. In general, airplanes don't need as much horsepower as a car, because you don't have to lug around as much weight and drag. So here I'm in what would be a right base, turning on to final, fly over a buddy's field. It's not technically a runway, but I have landed here before. It's a spot where he does deer hunting in his backyard, and it looks like a little runway, as you'll see here as I come up. I'm about at idle, and then my throttle up, hit almost about 85 mile an hour. Pitch into a climb. Today's really smooth air. And here I'm kind of just toying around with trying to coordinate the aileron and the rudders. So this plane has a little bit of adverse yaw. You have to coordinate with the rudder and the aileron to get it right, or else if you try to turn with just the ailerons, there's quite a bit of yaw you have to correct with the rudder pedals. And not sure. I think I'm about to do a little mild wing over. Yeah, we're going to pitch down. Just do a little mild wing over. Still kind of staying over the local area until I work out all the little bugs in this new engine. Make sure everything's really good before I start venturing out a little further. This engine I had on a gyrocopter, but I still need to do, the engine ran fine on it, and I still just need to do testing on the airplane to make sure everything's good. So here I think I'm about to head, yeah, I think I'm about back over my airfield at this point. I believe we're going to set up for a high-speed pass. So here we'd be on our, what they call the downwind leg. I haven't tried to come in from the other direction because the plane, here I'm trying to force a turn with my hand at 85 mile an hour. It does seem to yaw a little bit as you do that. All right, here we're going into a base turn and then the final for a low pass over my field. At this point, I'm not quite lined up. And then we'll just pour on the coals here. Down the runway. We'll pitch into a zoom climb. The bracket or the piece of fairing on the beside the muffler, that is it's a fairing I added to make the airflow a little smoother. So I added it had two steel brackets, and I replaced them with aluminum. Probably saved maybe a pound of weight. And with the fairing, it's still way lighter. Engine's running really good. I did So the engine was kind of loading up a little bit at high idle, which is actually where I run a lot now because I don't need all the power. So I dropped the needle jet, dropped it one notch. In other words, the clip went up a notch. It dropped the needle down and it leaned the carburetor mixture out. So now the engine doesn't stumble at high idle. And here we're going into a little slow flight. I think I'm doing about 42 mile an hour at a high, very high idle and still climbing. That's one of the things I need to test out a little more is the slow flight range. Is the airplane so much, it flies so much slicker now. It's just really hard to get it to slow down. So I need to explore that range. So I think here we're about 500 feet. I believe we're going to line up with the runway and land at this point. All right, so we're turning on our final approach here. And if you notice, I'll come in over the trees a little bit lower because the glide is so much better that you really need to, the approach has to be a lot flatter, not so steep just to get the speed down now. Coming in over the trees at idle at about, trying to get it slowed down. I believe I'm about 55 coming over the trees right here. And as I come over the trees, we drop it on down. And then we just hold off until the airplane just quits flying. At this point, I heard a noise. It sounded like the door come open, but apparently it didn't. So I was looking around like I couldn't figure out where the noise come from. And I still didn't figure out what it was. It sounded like a bang noise, like the like you slammed the door. But I checked everywhere. I didn't see any issues, any structural problems or anything. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this narration. Something a little different I haven't tried before.